Hello out there. I am Chris. I'm about to mostly ink. I'm sort of sketching up very lightly a drawing here. My pal Will is about to have a birthday, and he um, he likes Power Rangers, or at least like the history sort of Power Rangers. No, he likes Power Rangers, so I figured I'd draw him some of his favorites. I asked him like who some of his favorites were, and he said the White Ranger and the Gold Ranger from Zeo. So I've got a very loose sort of body here that I've sort of been working on, and then I need to. I'm looking at this. I need to figure out. I don't really know exactly what the symbol looks like on the White Ranger's chest. So I actually am going to look that up to the side on my computer real quick. And hopefully I can get it at least somewhat close. Oh boy, it's kind of complex. Well, I'll do my best. All right. So it's got this, and then it goes. Just making sounds to myself. Okay, so something like that and that. And that. Right? Maybe a little more over there. And a little something on there. All right. That's about as good as I'm going to do for now for just sketching it out, and then I'll try to fix it in inking. Let's see. All right. Hi, Kiro. Hi, Nintendude. So, yeah, I'm just working on a picture of some Power Rangers for a pal of mine whose birthday's coming up. And those are the characters that he likes, so that's what I am going to take a crack at. Anyway, I hope it comes out all right. How's everybody doing out there? Haven't talked to you in a while. Hope everything is all right. Using a Pigma Micron here, and then I will go back and sort of outline the thicker areas that I want with a brush or a brush pen. We'll see. Hello, Shirley. Hello, Carlos. What's your opinion of Disney's acquisition of Fox? Mixed, to be honest. Like the Marvel stuff, I'm happy about. I like having all of the Marvel characters back in Marvel's control. No question. Why wouldn't I? It's a lot of intellectual property and a lot of control in one place. That does make me a little nervous. It's also a hell of a lot of money to Fox, which gives them a lot of power too. So, there's definitely parts of me that are kind of nervous about the whole thing. It's weird to think of stuff like Simpsons being a Disney property. I'm just going to have to hope for the best, I guess. Yeah. Mark Miller has an interesting article about the acquisition, says Kiro. Oh, I have not come across that. I'm interested in everybody's hot takes. I think that while they've got an agreement, it hasn't been approved yet. I mean, there's always the chance that it's just too much for any one company to control, that it borders on a monopoly, and therefore they wouldn't be allowed to proceed. But my best guess is it will proceed, and that's that. Let's see, do I have this centered okay? Yeah, I guess so. It's a pretty huge deal. It's massive. It's like I'm trying to think of like the big entertainment studios at this point. I mean, if Fox isn't an actual studio anymore, we've basically got Disney, Warner Brothers, Sony, Paramount, right? I don't think I'm forgetting anybody in that equation. Uh, that's not much. It's a lot of power among very few players. But the Marvel stuff I'm happy about. You know, I think that the Marvel movies, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, their best villains have clearly been tied up with the Fantastic Four rights. Doctor Doom, one of the best villains in comics. Kang the Conqueror, great Avengers villain. Galactus, great cosmic threat. So like all those things are a huge, you know, benefit. I'm very curious to see what happens with all of that. I bet plans are changing very quickly as to like what movies are next coming out through Marvel. I um I like Power Rangers a little bit, but I'm not overly familiar. So whenever Power Rangers sort of comes up, I defer to my pal Will to tell me a little bit about it, and he's sort of my go-to expert. Um, let's see. Hello, TARDIS Rider, and hello, Geek Workshop. Thanks for joining me. Again, I'm drawing some Power Rangers for a pal of mine, Will. It's his birthday coming up, and these are his favorite characters. Don't really have any money these days, so I'm into making presents for people. I guess I can talk about this on the channel because most of my family doesn't really watch it. um, I'm making them or I'm not making all of them, but I'm making for like my sister and a couple other people. I'm making a board game right now, so that's kind of fun. Uh, my fiance Chrissy is helping me with casting like resin uh, figures to play with and parts for it, and I'm designing the artwork and game rules, and we're going to give some people that. Not everybody, because I don't want to repeat gifts too much. I'm just muttering. Anyway, yeah, there we go. Hope this looks right. What looks right to me for Power Rangers may not look right to him. I don't know. I hope I get it right. I I I know the White Ranger. I watched a little of Power Rangers early on, so I know the White Ranger. I don't really know the Gold Ranger. By Zeo, I was kind of out of Power Rangers completely. So anything Zeo or really, what did Turbo come before or after that? I don't know. I don't know really anything about that. So I'll just do my best here, and hopefully, if I get anything wrong, he just can chalk that up to that's my interpretation of these characters, right? So yeah, I won't talk about any spoilers, but I did see the Star Wars movie, and I'll just say that I liked it a lot. Um, I'm aware that some people have issues on certain areas, but personally, it worked for me. So uh, it gets my recommend if anyone's even curious. I think his chest is black, so I'm going to take a brush pen and fill that in. Hey, TARDIS Rider. Maybe Rambo will sweep in and save us from the acquisition and save net neutrality. Yeah, well, that's kind of what we're down to hoping for, right? A fictional character to come in and save us at this point. So that the new video that I have up, Rambo, I am actually not making any money off of that because it got hit with a copyright claim. That's not anything along the lines of a strike or anything like that. Like, the content is allowed to be up. However, Lionsgate, who owns the rights to that cartoon, have claimed that I am simply showing the cartoon, and that's not accurate. That's done because YouTube just has bots that like sort of go, okay, this looks like a visual match. So I have to dispute that, and I have. But until the dispute is resolved, which can take a month, all the money that like any ads or anything earn on it all go to Lionsgate. And when it gets reversed, that does not turn around and come back to me. That's how YouTube works. And that's frustrating because I really worked hard to chop up the episode and not show too much of any given scene, and I cut out all the audio. There's no audio at all. So I'm doing a review. I'm doing a critique. It's funny, but I'm doing a review. I believe it's 100% within the bounds of fair use. That's why I protested their claim. We'll see what happens, but it is frustrating because, of course, when's it going to get the views? When it's brand new, which is right now. That's when you make any of the pennies that you're going to make on YouTube. So frustrating. YouTube is it's not overly friendly to its creators, its content creators. It works hard to be fair to its advertisers and to the people that own the intellectual property. I get that. I do get that that's super important. They're going to lose their right to exist if they don't enforce copyright claims. But it's all so automated. There's no people involved. It's so frustrating. There's no phone number I can just call up and say, hey, I think you got this wrong. Can you please correct that? Instead, it's just, here's your notice. Click this button if you want to start to protest it, and you'll hear back in a month. Oh, thanks. No rush. A month. All right, let's see. Some people are saying a few things. Slime Beharit, thank you for joining. He says, The Last Jedi is one of my favorite Star Wars, but I gotta go see it again to see where it falls in my ranking. Yeah, I would say that that's kind of the same for me. I don't necessarily know where I'd place it ranking-wise, but it's definitely towards the very top. No question. Is it number 1, 2, or 3? But I liked it. I thought it was about something. I thought that it subverted a lot of my expectations. Thought it was beautiful. Anyway, it's what I personally wanted out of a Star Wars movie. But I don't want to talk about any plot points or anything like that. And, nothing. Because I went in, I'd even avoided the trailers. I went in very blind. And that might have really, really helped me a lot. Because I had no firm expectations. It was great. If I've got time this week, I'd like to see Coco. My fiance and I would like to go see Coco if we can find the time. I also want to see Lady Bird. That's getting some fantastic reviews, and it really does look interesting to me. So we'll see if I've got the time. Right now, this drawing is sort of a mini luxury for me because there's a lot of preparation that we have to do to get our house and presents and travel and everything lined up for the holidays. So very, very busy right now. Um, Planning new videos for the coming year. Um, just a lot going on. Still looking very, very hard, spending a lot of time uh, looking for my next job. If you're not aware, I got laid off a couple months ago, downsizing, corporate downsizing. A bunch of people got laid off. A lot of people got laid off unexpectedly. So um, very busy right now, and seeing movies is a huge luxury when I can fit it in. I'm a big fan of movies. I go to movies a lot when I can. So yeah, that's what's going on now. The one good thing about movies is I'm using that Movie Pass, and I gotta say it's fantastic. You pay it's like $8 a month, and you can go to almost as many movies as you want for free in the theater. Um, I've been using that a lot, so that's come in very, very handy. I don't know how long it can last. I really don't understand its business model very well, but I've certainly got my money's worth out of it for every month that I've had it. Movie Pass. Strongly recommend it. Strongly recommend it. What else? TARDIS Rider says, good luck on the YouTube appeal. Definitely fair use. Also, with regard to Last Jedi, I think those porgs looked delicious. Yeah. Slime Beharit, they're probably as delicious as they are cute. I would agree with both of those. And hello to Dark Dragon 6026. That means this is the 6026th Dark Dragon in existence. Thank you very much for joining. Appreciate it. So yeah, if you're just joining, I am drawing some Power Rangers characters for a pal of mine. His birthday's coming up. I don't have much money, but for good friends, I can always draw something if that's what they want. And he said, without me asking or anything, he was just like, "Boy, I'd really love a drawing from you for my birthday." I was like, "That's fair to ask. I might be too busy, but if you're a really good friend, and I've known Will a while now, so I was like, that's fair to ask." And as it happens, I'm gonna do it for you. Um, yeah, I forget what I was gonna say. Couldn't have been too important, I guess. So my friend Will is a blogger and a podcaster. He talks about all sorts of interesting things in the nerd pop culture sphere. If you go to William Bruce West, that's his website, William Bruce West. And he does at least post on like every Friday, sort of wrapping up the previous week. He calls it West Week Ever. I like that. That's usually a really entertaining read. And then he frequently will sit in on other people's podcast. Dark Dragon saw Last Jedi. Let's see. TARDIS Rider says the business model for I think you see Movie Pass is data mining. That's why you have to use the app. Well, I guess I'm willing to do that because it's a good deal. Good deal. Data mining isn't always evil. It depends what information they can collect and how. But, there's plenty of stuff out there that I understand is going to be out and about for companies to access. I get that. Some of it's also pretty insidious, so don't get me wrong. I'm not okay with everything. And it frustrates me how much Facebook does, but does it to all of us. My brother loves Power Rangers. We enjoyed the new Power Rangers movie. I saw the new Power Rangers movie with a pal of mine, John, and it wasn't bad actually. Now, I'm not myself a massive Power Rangers guy. I don't know a lot about the mythology, and I think that might have helped me enjoy that new movie because it wasn't really very action packed. The Power Rangers don't show up until the third act, really. So it depends on potentially what your expectations were going into that thing. But yeah, I didn't think it was too bad. I don't know that I'll ever watch it a second time, but it had some good acting actually, and tried to focus on building up the characters and making you care about them. Good idea. I think it probably would have benefited from a little more action though, seeing as what it came from and all. Because as I recall, I don't think the movie did that well, but I'm not 100% sure. My pal John just loves big monsters, kaiju and stuff. Like certainly Godzilla, but also like really liked the new Kong movie. And so like when Power Rangers came out, he was like, Power Rangers might be dumb, but I am curious. I want to see if they've got like huge monsters and stuff. That's fun. It's like I'll go with you. I'll go to basically any movie though. Let's see. TARDIS Rider says, I meant MoviePass. I don't know if they are evil, just that their business plan is based on their data mining plan. They don't make a profit on the monthly fees. I don't see how they could. I don't see how they could. It's just so low. Anyway, yeah. Because you basically make your money back by seeing a single movie in a month, what you're paying. And then I'll usually see, now that I've got the movie pass, I'll probably see 6 movies a month in the theater, something like that. And it's no big deal cost-wise because I just use the movie pass. I just turn it on, boom, done. Dunzo. So yeah. All right, I gotta figure out this weird sort of symbol here. I'll do my best with it. Everybody ready for the holidays? I feel like I'm still preparing. I feel like I'm not ready yet. But I also think some of that may be I've always tried to be a generous gift giver. I don't really have much money. this year, so it feels kind of weird to just sort of be in this position of getting ready to see family and not really having much in the way of presents for people. I should probably get over that. Because I got no choice. I have some fun stuff coming up in 2018 for the show. Gonna try to focus more on the positive aspects that folks are responding to and streamline the show as much as possible. Hope I get it right. It's a constant work in progress, but I'm definitely excited about some of the topics that we have coming up. Um, yeah, should be really, really fun, really good. Hope you all stick with me. All I can say is I promise I'll keep trying to make the best show I can, and I think it will continue to improve. Let's see. Buy them lottery tickets, says Craig Moran. Yeah. Yeah, that's about where I'm at. Like going like, oh, maybe this lottery thing's the way to go. TARDIS Rider says, tonight is sixth night of Hanukkah in my house. I'm sure your family just wants to see you and don't want expensive presents. Well, I think you're right. That is definitely what we've all been saying to each other. We said, look, it's okay. We're just going to see each other. Few little presents. Doesn't have to be a big thing. And you know what? Honestly, I like the Christmas traditions that we have and stuff, in terms of decorating with lights, the foods that we eat, the music that we listen to. I really like all that stuff quite a bit. But the presents, I like getting somebody a good present, but I've always sort of thought that presents are mostly for the kids. Because once you're an adult, you're in more of a position to sort of get yourself what you want, and it gets harder, honestly, to like shop for parents and stuff like that, siblings. So you're like, well, what can I get them that they didn't already think to get themselves? Anyway, so to me, Christmas is a little bit more for the kids, um, as far as presents go. Everybody enjoys getting a good present, but it means a little bit less as you get older. Yeah, I'm just excited to see my family. I wasn't able to get home last year. My family all lives on the East Coast. Um, my fiance's family is all here on the West Coast. I mean, they're my family too, but I'm talking my parents and my sister. They're all on the East Coast, and I miss them. So I haven't seen them since I didn't get to go back last year. I haven't seen them in 2 years. So I'm very, very excited to go back. And it's also, of course, the area where I grew up, south of Boston, and looking forward to seeing Boston again, taking a day or two to walk around the city and remember all the stuff I like about it. Um, Boston will always feel kind of like home, even if I haven't lived there in a long time. I'm sure if any of you have moved around the country or the world a good amount, you know what I'm talking about. Like, home is sort of where you live, but it's also like, where you spent the most time growing up, or at least where your family is. So, yeah. Oh, look at this. Dark Dragon says, I might get my character published next year. My art teacher knows people in the comic industry personally, so he decided to help. Well, good luck with that. That would be great. That sounds very exciting. Um, and even if it doesn't happen, that's still a great first step. For now, it's awesome that your teacher is reaching out to help like that. That's promising. So that, like, yeah, good things will keep happening if that's the way things are right now. All right, I'm going to take a break on this White Ranger for a minute and move over to this guy, who apparently is called the Gold Ranger, although the reference photos I looked at of him, he's mostly got black in his costume. But I guess maybe there was already a Black Ranger, and the gold highlights make him the Gold Ranger. Something like that. That makes sense, I guess. Took me a while to pencil out his mask. I was trying to figure it out. It's still don't know if I figured it all out. Let's see here. I think I got it. I might get to go back to Japan in February. My fiance and I are looking into a potential trip to Japan and Hong Kong. Last year, let me just explain. My fiance is a painter, and last year she had some of her paintings featured in a gallery in Hong Kong, and we went there for the opening. That show is over, and some of the paintings sold, but not all of them. That's normal for show. And we're thinking we will go there to pick them up instead of like shipping them back, which is also very expensive. Might as well get a trip out of it. You just take them off their frames and roll them up into a tube, and it's checked luggage. And on international flights, that's usually not too big a deal. They usually give you some checked luggage space. I'm looking at a piece of reference here. Okay, I don't know if I'm going to get this right. Anyway, so yeah. Hello, Sly Fly Guy. Thanks for joining us. I am in the process of trying to draw some Power Rangers for a friend. He's a fan of these two characters. I looked them up. I'm trying to get them right, and it's a birthday present for him. I hope I'm getting it right. All I can do is try. Speaking of movies, not sure if any of you are necessarily into indie movies or surreal cinema, but saw something in that vein last night that I thought was quite good. It's called The Killing of a Sacred Deer. It's by writer-director Yorgos Lanthimos. It's a Greek filmmaker who's made the movies Dogtooth and The Lobster, which are quite good, and his latest movie's out. And honestly, if I tried to describe it to you, it would actually be a little bit of an injustice because the fun of the movie is trying to make sense of it and figure it out. But I thought it was quite good. So if you're into trying to see different types of films, if you like stuff by guys like David Lynch, for instance, or if you've seen Dogtooth or The Lobster, all I can say is I think you'll like this one as well, The Killing of a Sacred Deer. I would say it's loosely, very loosely, not even based on so much as inspired by the Greek mythology tale of Agamemnon. But you don't need to know that going in at all. Anyway, a little recommendation, I guess. Let's see, Dark Dragon. We're thinking Image since those comics are creator-owned, and then I'm able to do what I want while keeping it in the company without them ripping up my plane for the character. Well, that's true, as long as they accept you. If they accept you, and you meet the minimum threshold for copies ordered, you will definitely retain authorship. Yeah, the Image deal is great if they accept you. Just keep in mind, the artwork has to be amazing. Okay, it has to be really, really competitive with anything else that's out there. It has to be great. They're not going to say yes to anything that's sort of like just okay. They're just not. And you're gonna have to tell them, the whole story, like where it's headed and stuff. And if they're going to accept it can't just look and read well. It also has to be something that there's room for in the marketplace. If because I've had books that they've said, we like this, we would publish this. There's too much of this type of comic being published right now. That's happened to me twice in Image. So just keep those things in mind so that you're not necessarily getting expectations out of order. And I'm not telling you that you won't make it at all. Like I encourage this. This sounds great, and I want you to succeed. And purely setting expectations based on the little I know, right? What do I know? And remember that Image isn't the only player. And you could always self-publish and submit that to Diamond Distribution. That's always an option. And if you do that, then the next time you pitch something to a company like Image or Boom Studios, IDW, Oni, whatever, you're much more likely to get accepted. Because if you can prove that you can publish something yourself, that carries a hell of a lot of weight in the industry. Anyway, good luck. Keep us updated on how things go. I'm sure I speak for everybody that stops into the chat room and all the viewers that say, we wish you the best, Dragon. Excuse me, I was about to say Dragon Rider, Dark Dragon. I was thinking of TARDIS Rider up there. I hope this looks right. Anyone got any questions? Keep this chat room going. Let me think. What else is going on? Thinking of episodes that I got coming up, but I don't want to really spoil anything there for anybody. The first 3 minutes of the Justice League movie were officially released to promote the Blu-ray. It's about to go up for sale in Asia already. So the first 3 minutes of the movie are up, and that includes footage of Superman, and it's some of that really awkward footage with Henry Cavill with his mustache digitally erased. Superman's mouth just looks so goddamn weird. Oh, you should see it. And don't get me wrong, the movie's actually a bit of fun. But I would say consistently throughout that the special effects are kind of quite bad for this level of a movie. It can detract sometimes from your enjoyment. Like uniformly throughout, there's some really bad special effects. I'm not quite talking like, Sharknado, but not that much better. Thank you, Dark Dragon, for the backing me up on that. It's been a while since I've seen like that level of a big budget movie have such bad special effects. Like I was like, what? It definitely could have used another at least 6 months to really be ready, I guess. They rushed it. That's all I can figure. It just feels unfinished. But it's fun. It's fun. It's not. It's better than I expected it to be. But I also wouldn't really be upset if they decided to reboot the whole thing. I really wouldn't. Because I do think a better version exists out there. I would say Wonder Woman, they've really done a great job with. I would say that Aquaman is pretty interesting. I don't care for their take on the Flash. I actually far prefer the version on TV, both looks and character. Cyborg, not much to say about that. It's fine. Who else? I mean, we've seen Batman and Superman. They did a better job with Superman in Justice League than they did with either Man of Steel or Batman versus Superman. But that's about all I can say, I guess. I don't want to spoil anything per se. Let's see. TARDIS Rider says, I kid you not, at Target today I saw JLA promotional razors from Gillette or some company with Superman on the package. I've seen those too. There's also a package of those Justice League razors with Aquaman. And this Aquaman has a really big scruffy beard. I'm like, he ain't using Gillette razors. He just not. It's that is some weird promotional tie-in when you've got like a notoriously bad special effect of Superman's beard being digitally erased, and then one of the main characters on your box is a guy that's clearly not shaving at all. Now, if it was like an electric body razor, I'd go, maybe. I mean, he's clean shaven on his chest, so maybe that promotional tie-in might have worked on that, but not for a facial razor. It's I maybe I have to do an episode on this sometime, like promotional tie-ins for superhero movies that don't make sense. Because the one I'll never forget is like, and I forget the vehicle right now, but like I remember the idea of the commercial is just like, like the Hyundai Tucson, the official car of Thor the movie. And I was like, what does that mean? The official car of Thor the movie, but it's like not in the movie. It's not like Thor's driving around, a little sedan in the movie. Oh, it's so weird. I don't understand that logic. Hello, Sigamigs. Who heard about the new Spawn movie? Asks Dark Dragon. Well, I mean, I've heard that Todd McFarlane says he's writing it, and it'll mostly be about Sam and Twitch, and Spawn is just in it, I guess? I don't know. I haven't read Spawn in a long time, so I don't really know if he has some good stories to adapt for a movie. I remember the original movie. Whew. That thing was a stinker. That thing was not good. But it also came out at a time where we didn't get a lot of big mainstream superhero movies all the time. Like, just Batman, really. So I saw it, It was a time where you're like, oh, the Phantom, okay. I guess I'll give the Phantom a try. The Shadow? Alright, I guess. It was just that time. Let's see. Ultra HDX says that he or she is so hyped for the new Spawn movie. Interesting. Does anyone collect Spawn comics? Well, I certainly did back in the day. But somewhere around, we'll say issue, I don't know, 75 or 100 is where I finally sort of dropped out. But I did read it for quite a while. There's a time where I read pretty much anything by Image, but yeah, I read it for quite a while. But I haven't read it recently. Even issue 100 is quite a long time ago at this point. Welcome back, Shirley. Did you see the Image Comics episode of Kirkman's documentary series? Asks Sigmix. I have not seen it yet. I've actually heard that it's quite good, quite interesting. I've heard a few people on Twitter say that they liked it. I have not seen it yet. I do want to. It's waiting for me on demand as soon as I can carve out a little bit of time to just watch TV. I hope it's good. I did like very much the Sci-Fi Channel's 5-part documentary on the history of Image Comics. I mean, it was kind of biased because it only interviewed the core Image founding members and a couple other people that write for Image. So you're not really getting the perspective of anyone else in the industry outside of Image. But that doesn't make it inaccurate. It just makes it not really like there just wasn't really any outside perspective. So yeah, Sci-Fi Channel did that, and you can find it online. There's a 5-part documentary series that they did pretty recently. It's good. I'm going to try to collect Spawn comics as the story for Spawn Good says Ultra HDX. And Dark Dragon says, yeah. Does anyone collect Walking Dead comics? I don't technically collect Walking Dead comics, but I've been proofreading it since day one, so they send me copies of all the books, you know, all the individual issues, all the trades, all the, what do you call them, like activity books and novels and stuff like that. So I've got a full run of that, and I've got several copies of first printing of issue 1. Used to have a heck of a lot more. I was just hanging out at Kirkman's house back when that was brand new, and he's like, why don't you just take a bunch of these to give out to people, spread the word. And that's exactly what I did at that point in time. Didn't realize that it would be worth so much today, or I might have held on to more copies. I just picked up Walking Dead Compendium 1. Gonna give it a shot, says Sigamix. Good. I hope you like it. I think that there's a lot of interesting stuff in Walking Dead. Yeah, I far prefer the comic to the TV show. I'll say that. Yeah, I like it a lot. There have been some good arcs. Sometimes it goes a little slow, sort of in between arcs, you might say. But yeah, there's some of them that I like. I like a lot. I really liked All Out War, which was several different communities basically waging war in a post-apocalyptic world. That one was pretty good. I liked that. And I loved the first 6 issues a lot. I think that they hold up very, very well. What else? Oh, Shirley, you finished Death Note 6 on to Volume 7. Nice. Wow, you're charging through them. Hope that it keeps holding your interest. That's very cool. We'll have to talk about it when you finish. We'll have to talk about it. You see that there's a couple more comments or questions, so give me just a moment and I'll take a look there. All right, let's see. Not quite out of place promos, but as a kid, I always loved the Hostess comic ads. Yeah, they're hilarious. They're classic, but they're not really out of place, are they? Like they're kind of dumb, but we all love them anyway because we know what they are. All right, what else? I found it kind of amusing when it covers how Walking Dead revitalized Image since Kirkman was making the series, says Sigamix. Yep, but you know what? Accurate. Accurate. And honestly, credit shouldn't be entirely given to Kirkman there. I think that Jim Valentino definitely deserves a lot of credit for establishing, we'll call it an ecosystem in which something like Walking Dead could be created. Jim Valentino definitely created like a version of Image where they would accept proposals from other people, and we ended up with a lot of good comics and a lot of good creators. After a while, I think that they also started to accept kind of some not so great stuff. I'm blanking on some of the names of the stuff that I saw Image publish, like in that sort of geez, what would it be at this point? Like late 2000s? No, early 2000s period. But then, um, Eric Larson stepped in, quality control went up. Eric Stevenson runs it now, seems to do a really good job. So I think that there's a lot of people that really helped Image become the success that it currently is. It really could have just been a brief, very popular thing just because of its founding creators, but it grew into something a lot bigger. I think that's impressive. Are you friends with Kirkman? I'm almost finished collecting for Walking Dead. I'm 25 issues away from getting a full set. Yeah, I would say that we're friends. We're not friends that hang out. He's out in LA and I'm in Seattle. So we don't hang out. But when we see each other these days at conventions, we joke around, catch up for a few minutes, and I always have a good time. He's always been very, very friendly, very fair to me. Uh, there was a time before Walking Dead when he was mostly self-publishing, and we were closer. But he's got a family now. He's got a business that he's got employees and stuff. So I'm not saying that he's been unfair to me in any way. It's just that's life. We've drifted a little, but we still talk a little bit online, email here and there. Not all not like regularly. Anyway, good guy. He's always been more than fair to me, and he deserves the success that he's earned. He's what he's really smart at. He's smart at a bunch of things. He's naturally quite charming and likable. He's really easy to talk to and hang out with, and he's good at like finding sort of natural jumping on points constantly for his readers. He's got a natural sense towards marketing. It's impressive. It's very impressive. Um, but yeah, I'm trying to think of when we met. It was whenever Battle Pope was originally coming out. Um, so that would have either been 99 or 2000, I guess. Somewhere around 99 or 2000 was when we met each other. All right, what else? Craig Moran, did you like Guyver? Are you talking movie, anime, or manga? Because the anime didn't really interest me very much. I kind of liked the movies, the live action movies. Tried to read the manga, couldn't really get into it personally. Um, but I loved the idea behind it. The idea behind it is cool. Hello, Karen G. Thanks for dropping in. Appreciate it. Just sort of working on a drawing for a pal. I think I've made a mistake here. Yeah. So when you make a really big mistake that you just can't correct because it's been done with your inking, that's what this is for, a whiteout pen. So I'll let that area dry and then I'll come back to it. Yeah, actually, I'll finish this plate. Do you remember Antarctic Press? Yeah, are they not around anymore? I guess I thought that Antarctic Press was potentially still around, although I haven't looked to see what they've created. It's definitely been a while. But yeah, they were an indie publisher that seemed to be around quite prevalent in the early 2000s, I would say, like just doing all sorts of different stuff, creator owned mostly, right? Sigamig says, your fave Power Rangers series. I grew up with Dino Thunder. Um, I guess the original. That's the only one I really know. In case you're just joining and haven't heard, I'm drawing this for a pal. My pal Will. He's a big Power Rangers fan, and he's got a birthday coming up. And he asked if I would be willing to draw him something. I said, yeah, yeah, that's a fair request. We've known each other forever. I'll draw you something. And so I know he loves Power Rangers, and I asked him, who are your favorite Power Rangers characters? And he told me about the White Ranger, who I sort of knew about, and the White Ranger and the Gold Ranger. I don't really know the Gold Ranger as well. I know he's from Zeo, but I didn't really know too much about that. So if you're asking me what my fave series is, probably the original, because I don't know too much beyond that point. The first few seasons with the same cast is kind of the only version I really know. I mean, I'm aware that Power Rangers exists. I just haven't really watched it. I don't know any of the cast members or anything like that past the original cast. Fair question. Let's see. So the character I'm working on, this is Dark Dragon, is something I've been trying to put to paper for a long time, but it had to be something that sticks. Well, that's totally fair. Yeah, you need a memorable concept, don't you? You need it to be about something. It can't just be a story with scenes. It needs to be about something. That's when it can get tricky. What kind of part of the human nature are you trying to explore? Kind of centered. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Are there other questions? What happened to comic book Spawn by Kirkman and McFarlane? I think you're talking about Haunt. Uh, that was the book they did together, Haunt. I think they both got too busy for it. But I think that they finished the initial arc. I'm pretty sure that that's like a complete story that's available in trade. Um, Hope I'm right about that. Uh, but yeah, that was called Haunt. And as I recall, it sold well. Why wouldn't it? It's McFarlane and Kirkman, right? They did Spawn for a while, probably sometime after Cthulhu. Wait, Kirkman worked on Spawn? I don't know about that then. This is drawing a blank. I thought that I was familiar with everything that Robert had done, but I'm drawing a blank on him working on Spawn. Wow. Okay. I guess it just shows I can't know everything. He's done a lot of work. It's sometimes hard to feel like I'm up to date with everything, but yeah, wow, okay. I'm gonna have to Google that later because I don't remember that at all. Wow. That makes me feel old and forgetful. Hmm. Wow, it's already 5 o'clock my time. This day is flying by. Oh, Ultra HDX says he does mean haunt. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that haunt is available as a single trade, but it's been a long time since I've thought to look for it. Because that was a long time ago now. I'm trying to remember how long ago that was, but it was a while back now. I would be interested in seeing Todd McFarlane completely illustrate a book again. Something tells me he doesn't necessarily have the time to completely illustrate a book anymore. But I would be interested in that, for nostalgia's sake, really. Don't skip out on the Spawn Hunt crossover. Yeah. Yeah, I'm aware of the crossover, but I think I'm getting close to wrapping this sketch up. Take a look in a minute and see if there's any areas that I've sort of neglected or screwed up on badly and need to go back and work on. My cat is meowing, but it's not dinner time, so he's not tricking me. Did you like Gen 13? I liked Gen 13 back in the day. Yeah, there was a period where I really liked J. Scott Campbell as an artist. Not so much anymore. I sort of grew out of being into it, but yeah, I definitely enjoyed my time there. You know what I enjoyed in the Gen 13 universe though was the book Sleeper. It takes place in that same sort of world, and It's written by Ed Brubaker. I think that's pretty fantastic. Doesn't really follow the Gen 13 kids, but it does take place in that overall world, and I think it's pretty cool. That gets a recommend from me. I hear you, Cat, but it ain't time. So, some Power Rangers. Maybe not the most exciting. I don't think it's too bad, though. Hopefully, my pal Will likes it. It's what he asked for. It's his birthday. Gonna just try to clean it up a little, but I think I'm basically done drawing for now. Appreciate everybody jumping in and asking questions, listening to me blabber. It's been really interesting. You guys are great. I'm a lucky guy to get to chat with all of you. Thanks, Shirley. Will it look good to Will? That's what's important. It's for him. Just trying to clean it up a little where I've got some slightly darker pencil marks. I need a helper whose whole job is just to do this. Hope you guys enjoyed the latest episode. The Rambo episode of Comic Tropes is up as of this morning. I'm fighting a copyright claim on it because I believe that I reviewed clips in fair use. I think I was very fair with how I dumped out all the audio, cut out massive swaths of the episode. But Lionsgate has claimed copyright ownership on that episode, so I'm not making so much as a nickel on it yet. Hopefully it takes off and it's a popular episode, so in a month when that's resolved and I can start making my nickels and dimes, I still make a few. We'll see. We'll see. Thank you, Dark Dragon. Aldi, I'm sorry. I am finishing up. I drew some Power Rangers for a pal's birthday. See you, Shirley. And let's see. Ultra HDX says, I collect mostly Image comics by Kirkman, such as Walking Dead, Invincible, Thief of Thieves, Outcast, and I also collect Birthright and Rick and Morty. Very cool, man. Kirkman has some other books up there you might enjoy, like Super Patriot he did for Eric Larson, Cloudfall, Reaper, Brit, Tech Jacket. Tech Jacket's good. Look for Reaper. It's hard to find, but it's good. Just one issue. Really good. Anyway, anyway, yeah, I guess I'm done. I have a bunch of errands to do. Gotta get this house ready for Christmas, you know? We've decorated our Christmas tree, but I feel like I want to hang out some lights outside. My neighbors have, and I want to be a good neighbor and participate. So I think that's what I'm going to go do. thank you all for stopping. But you know what? I did forget one little detail that I'm just going to add in. Apparently, these shoulder things have little segmented ridges like this, and a little texture goes a long way. So we'll just throw that in there, and I think that's a little better even. And we'll even drop in a little shadow here. Right? Right. You know what? I'll even feather that a little. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. Folks, Mike, I'm so sorry. Did you ever get any of Del Close's comics? Sorry, TARDIS Rider, I have not. Thank you for reminding me. I am curious about that. Yeah. If you don't live stream before then, Merry Christmas, Chris. Thank you, Sigamigs. Appreciate it. I'm sorry, Mike, that I am wrapping up now. I'll try to do another one before the holidays if I can fit in some time and maybe announce it a little earlier. This was a little bit spur of the moment, but that's how they are. And they all get archived if you want to go back and watch them. But I love everybody's questions, so I do understand wanting to be here at the beginning. All right, folks, I'm turning it off, and I will see you soon. Check out the Comic Tropes video today, and keep reading comics.